Welcome back to Tendencies. I'm Jreese.
I'm your boy, Jay Suave.
And we are back with another episode today. If you tuned in last week, I just want to say thank you. If you're new, I want to say welcome. Let me start off by saying I went to my first Mavs game last night, man. It was interesting. It was interesting indeed.
And you weren't even rooting for the Mavs, bro.
Hell no. I was a Raptors fan last night.
That's crazy.
I'm not even a Raptors
First
fan,
Mavs
bro.
game, you're not even rooting for the Mavs.
I was rooting for Kyrie Irving.
Bro, that's not rooting for the
Hey,
Mavs,
it was not. I was hoping for Luka's downfall. Also, we missed every shot. Bro still had 31, though.
Yeah, 2 for 11 from the 3, though.
Yeah, I realized something, though, while I was there. I was like, because I was listening to the people. First off, when they hit the rim, I think it's loud as heck, bro. Yeah. So when you brick, I was like thrown off. I was like, dang. Like the first shot I saw Pascal Siakam shoot, boink.
Brick.
I was like, damn.
He went crazy, though.
He did. He had 31 as well. He had 31, 12, and like 4, I think.
Yeah.
But
it really sucks that none of them are better than Jason Tatum, but.
Bro, Tatum soft.
Most definitely, bro.
My bad.
Most definitely.
Let me keep on topic with what I was saying. And then after that, I realized, because every time that Pascal Siakam scored, that commentator was like, number 43, Pascal Siakam scored.
No, bro, that's how it is every game.
And then Luka scored. He said, Luka!
Bro, whenever Maxi Kleber was there last year, be like, Maxi! And it was crazy, bro. And he barely scored, so whenever he did score, the commentator went crazy.
Like, every time one of the Mavs scored, he went crazy. Every time a Raptors scored, he was, this guy.
Got to get the crowd hyped,
This
bro.
guy again. Mm-hmm. But I'm telling you, watching Kyrie Irving play in person,
it's different.
Oh my goodness, I was about to shed a tear, bro. I'm not gonna lie, it was just beautiful. It was just he went up for this one lay. I was like, oh, he's going up to the left, midair, switched over underneath to the right, off the back. I was like, oh my goodness.
I saw him against the Kings last year. It was like his 4th game with the team, and he ended up going insane, bro. Especially in the 4th quarter because they were losing. And he just locked and gets like 15 points in the 4th, bro. And nobody could stop this man. He's over here hitting fadeaways, turnarounds, bro, like everything.
Kyrie Irving is a freaking monster, man. It's going to be crazy as hell later this year with these Miami Heat.
That just won't happen.
It's going to be crazy when he's a Miami
That
Heat.
just won't happen.
Can't wait to see him in South Beach, bro. Can't wait to see it.
What does this mean?
Bro, I know. I'm cool with Mark Cuban, bro. We be talking.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Of course.
For sure. Him and Pat Riley, get the deal done. I miss Dame. I miss Dave.
Shut up.
All right, let's get into our first topic, man. We're going to talk about a lot of adult animation today. And the first thing I want to talk about is, one of the most popular shows on television today. That's going to be Rick and Morty. If you're not familiar with Rick and Morty is an Emmy Award-winning half-hour animated hit comedy series on Adult Swim that follows a sociopathic genius scientist who drags his inherently timid grandson on insane, dangerous adventures across the universe, right? Season 7 just started, and I know you've only seen, I think, 1 episode of Season 7 so far. What do you think of it so far, man?
I mean, I was looking at some of the stuff like before the season came out because I know you and some other people were kind of hype about it, and the only episode I watched, like, I wasn't really paying too much attention to how the voice actors was different. I really didn't even, because I didn't really, look into it until you said anything about it.
Yeah.
But I know that, some of the characters that, what's it called?
Justin Roiland.
Breathed into life. You got Rick, you got Morty, Mr. Poopy Butthole, bro. I guess it's just not the same. And, all the creativity he brought to the show has just been replaced with shocky edge humor.
Yeah.
Stuff like
well,
that.
at the same time though, because Justin Roiland hasn't been in the writers' room since season 2 or 3, so he was just there drunk, reciting his lines. So Justin Roiland, what I've heard from behind the scenes is he wasn't really that great of a person on set.
Yeah.
So I'm not really upset that he's gone. You could tell it a little bit with the way the voices sounded. They do sound a little different, but I don't think the voices are bad at all. I think they're doing a pretty good job.
Yeah, I couldn't even notice, bro.
Yeah, unless you're really looking for it, it's hard to notice. So if you hear fans talking about the voices aren't the same, they're really just nitpicking because for the most part, they sound really good. It's just that the first couple episodes, I'll say the writing and the storytelling of the first couple episodes were pretty lacking. You know what I'm saying for the most part. Because, Dan Harmon's still there, and he was, the main person in the writer's room for a lot of the series. So, he'll bring some interesting stuff, but I wasn't really interested in what they brought to the table in the first couple episodes. Mr. Poopy Butthole's, what's it called, intervention. There, and then it was the episode where it was Rick and Jerry combined into one being. I was like, what the heck is going on? But then episode 3 and 4, I really enjoyed. Episode 3 specifically, with Unity coming back and it having to deal with more of the canon. Because I'm really more interested in the canon and the serialized version episodes that they have over the episodic ones. But the episodic ones are also really good. And then this last episode, it dealt with suicide. And it played an interesting take on it where everybody in this other planet that killed himself turned into spaghetti, which was weird. And it took to a really dark turn at the end. And it had a really touching moment with one of the montages that are... that kind of reminds you of the Vat of Acid episode, but it's not the same, It's like they're trying to live up to the Vat of Acid episode, but it just doesn't hit the same. But, overall, I really enjoyed the series.
Yeah, and it's just, one of the things. It's like, if you're looking for something, you're going to find it. Mm-hmm. So I feel like people that are like, oh, well, the voice acting is this, the voice acting is that. Well, if I don't, really notice, then I feel like I don't really care.
Yeah.
But I feel like kind of comparing the show against itself is, I won't say it's bad for the show, but I feel like it's bad for viewers.
Yeah, bad for their experience watching.
Yeah.
I got you. Let's talk about your favorite episodes, man. We'll talk top 5. We'll go from 5 to 1.
Am I going first?
Yeah, you'll go first.
So at 5, I have Close Rick Counters of the Rick Kind, where Rick is just trying to enjoy his nice breakfast, But he's kidnapped by a group of alternate Ricks and taken to stand trial for the crime against him. And bro was just trying to, chill out, eat his breakfast.
Bro was trying to eat his flying saucer-shaped pancakes.
No, for real. And then at number 4, I have Rick Mariah Jack.
Oh, that's a great episode.
Where Rick's still doing the weird crows thing. But then that weird middle-aged Morty comes and he tries to reconnect with Rick. But then it was just a weird, emotional path.
Yeah.
I don't even, that one familiar location, I don't know.
On the Citadel of Rick's.
Yeah, the Citadel. Yeah. Then at number 3, I have the Vat of Acid, where that episode just started off so crazy. But it was just, everyone knows, it's just the episode where Rick and Morty faked their deaths. Well, Rick faked both of their deaths by jumping into a vat of acid.
Fake acid, to be specific, A hot tub of Mountain Dew.
That was funny. And then they just look at them and they're like, huh? And then the bones floated up and stuff like that. And at number 2, I got Rick Potion, where the potion designed to make Morty attractive to one girl goes viral and affects all of Earth.
Bro, Cronenberg the Earth.
Bro, it was such an odd episode because I was just watching it and I was like, dang, I wish this was me.
Yeah. You would have been Cronenberged?
Yeah, bro, if she falls in love with me.
Bro, she was ready to do it on site with Morty.
She was ready to die about Morty, bro.
Bro, the crazy thing is they kept going back to that location 4 other times throughout the series.
Yes,
and each time it just gets worse and worse.
Yeah, and then Rick tried to clean up the mess, but then he created even more of a mess. Then at number 1, this is probably the episode I laughed the most hard at, was Mr. Meeseeks. And this is the episode that kind of proved, well, I mainly liked it because they supported characters like Beth and Jerry. They kind of outshined Rick and Morty, given the right circumstances. But by showing that, everyone almost died.
Because of Jerry.
Because of Jerry.
They were over there tripping, oh, Mr. Meeseeks, look at
And how bad he is at golf, bro. It was bad. But
bro said he wanted to take 2 strokes off his putt. And bro was struggling so bro gave up and they were ready to kill. They could have killed themselves. The only way to die was if Jerry took 2 strokes off. And they're like, the only way to take 2 strokes off is by killing Jerry.
That's real. But that was my top 5.
And that was a solid list, man. Especially when you had at number 5 with the
Close Rick and
yeah. We're introducing the evil Morty and all that.
Yeah.
Hey, number 5 for me. I have Rick Mariah Jack. You're number 4, man. Man, I love that episode just because I love the lore it gets into. Because like I said before, I like the serialized portions of the series. So really diving into that aspect. and seeing Rick's past and how this alternate version of Rick was able to kill his wife and daughter, his version of Beth, and he was able to go back. And he went. We saw a montage of him going across different universes, killing different Ricks, trying to find out which Rick killed his wife, and then he eventually ends up in the main universe and settles with that Beth, and then getting that Morty, and then so it's not even his original Morty, but that because he doesn't have an original Morty because his version of Beth died.
Yeah.
So, but he still loves Morty like he's his own grandson, you know. So I just really enjoy that episode and what it brings to the.
Bro, how many times has everybody died, bro?
I think Rick and Morty are the same Rick and Morty from the beginning.
Yeah.
But the family has died a bunch of times. And then, actually, I think this Rick has died a couple times. But he had, like, different clone versions of himself on different universes. Like, he was a shrimp at one point. And I remember it was season 4, episode 1, where he kept dying. And then he kept going to fascist universes. Like, when he's a shrimp, they were all Nazis. And then the one world where they weren't all Nazis was when he was a wasp, and he was like, as a wasp, I know what it's like for people to have a preconceived notion of who you are. Yeah. And then that episode was crazy. But number 4, I have Rick Convenient Mort, where Morty falls in love with Planet Tina. I don't know if you've seen that episode, but that episode was sad, bro. Bro falls in love with Planet Tina, then they go on adventures together, and she's like a rip-off Captain Planet. So they're going on these environmental adventures. Then she starts killing people because they're like destroying the environment. And Morty's like, I can't be with you. And like they're in love, bro. Like he's like ready to leave his family for an old girl. And then
That's
he's like,
real.
And then they break up. And then Morty's heartbroken. And then I was like, dang, Morty. Like I understand your pain. I understand the pain of losing a bad bitch. Everybody knows that pain, Morty.
No, for real.
And then there's like a nice moment between him and Beth where it's like, it's just a sweet moment after he gets his heart broken. And the episode's just sad. And then Rick and Summer are out in space, like having space orgies or something like that. It was like their storyline I was really, really interested in. It was the really Planet Tina portion of it that I was like really invested in. Number 3, I have the Look Who's Purging Now episode, right? That used to be my favorite episode where Rick and Morty get trapped on a purge planet. And then Morty falls for a girl, and then she ends up shooting Rick, and then steals their spaceship. So they have to go around killing people. And then just watching Morty be like not trying to kill people, he handed Rick a spoon at one point, and Rick killed some dude with a spoon. And then Morty was like, when he had to listen to this dude's story, like is when he snapped, because the dude's story was trash. And Morty was like, please give me constructive criticism. Morty was like, oh, you could have did this a little bit better. Morty was like, and dude was like, F you, Morty. He's like, screw your beacon, get out of my crib. And Morty killed him, and he was like bloodlusted the rest of the episode. Bro was just killing everybody. Then they started killing everybody to the song "Feels Good" by Tony. I was like, come on now, like that song go crazy, and it was just amazing episode.
Morty don't be playing no games.
Morty don't be playing, bro. Number 2, I have the Pickle Rick episode, season 3, episode 3, where Rick turns himself into a pickle to get out of therapy. And you're thinking, what shenanigans could he get to as a pickle? A whole lot of shenanigans, right? Bro gets hit by a cat off his desk, rolls down after Beth steals the serum to turn him back into a human. And then he's out in the sun baking, and then he's like, oh, I'm about to die. And then the sun was like, nah. And then it started raining. He goes down the drain, and then he gets attacked by some cockroaches. He kills those cockroaches with his tongue because he has no arms or legs. He's just a pickle, right? And then he kills those roaches, makes a body for himself. Then he uses that body to kill some rats. And with those rats, he built a new body with it for this pickle. Then he killed a whole bunch of rats, killed the king, went to a hidden Russian base, kills all the Russians. They're like, it was like a John Wick thing. They were calling him like the Baba Yaga, but for a pickle. And then bro kills all them. Bro eventually goes to therapy and then gets the serum, and then it was just crazy.
Bro, it's just good. Like imagine explaining this to someone who's never watched a lick of Rick and Morty.
I know, they're like
I wonder what happens in these writers' minds for what do they even be thinking about, bro?
Bro, they must be on all kinds of drugs.
Most definitely.
And I'm trying to be in that writer's room, man.
That's insane.
But my number one is definitely the vat of acid episode. You know, Morty pisses off Rick because he hates the vat of acid idea, gets dragged into the vat of acid, and then they get into a point where he's like, I went along with your stupid idea, go along with some of my stupid ideas, and he's like, I want a remote that can save my point in time like a video game. And Rick reluctantly, makes that device. You get a nice montage of Morty, using the remote, looking like he's going back in time to where he saved the point. In that montage, he meets a girl at a coffee shop. They fall in love. Morty again, fumbling a bad bitch. But this time wasn't Morty's fault, okay? Because he has the remote, right? They go on an adventure. Then they get in an airplane after they break up. They get back together. They go on a trip to Alaska or something. The plane crashes in the middle of like the Arctic. They're all about to freeze to death. And Morty, where it looks like he's about to push the button to go back in time on the remote, he grabs a phone, dials 911. They get rescued. They recover in the hospital. And you think it's all funny? They're all good, right? He hasn't used the remote since. It's been like a year. Jerry presses the remote, travels back to the moment where they meet, and then they can't get back together because she thinks Morty's a creep because he's crying because he's like, we just spent this whole life together. You got to believe me. And then she doesn't believe him, pepper sprays him, and he hits the button again by accident. So every time he presses the button to go back to try to reverse, getting pepper sprayed and, try to reintroduce himself to her.
Yeah.
She keeps pepper spraying him. It's back to the moment where right when he gets pepper sprayed. So it's like he lived in that moment over and over again. So, and then at the end, you find out that that Rick made it so, because he's like, Morty, I hate time travel. You know this. So he said, what you've actually been doing is traveling to other dimensions of versions of yourselves, killing them, taking their spots, and they die a gruesome death. They melt. They're like, yeah. And then he was like, I can fix it all, but we're gonna merge every reality into ours. And he's like, I like this, but the one part of it, so I'm not your original Rick, but you'll go back to your original timeline. He said, you're not my original Rick? He said, no, how do you know about the acid? We all have a vat of acid, Morty. Presses the button, Morty goes through excruciating pain, and everybody's ready to kill Morty. Like, oh my God. He's like, how are you gonna get out of this? And Rick's like, hey, look over there. Another vat of acid. He's like, oh no, he's gonna kill himself in a vat of acid. And Morty's just like, dang, all this to prove a point. And it was just like, that's gotta be my favorite episode.
Most definitely, it was a good episode.
Man, let me talk about Invincible real quick. I know you haven't seen Invincible yet, but season 2 of Invincible is out right now. Well, the first episode, at least. New episodes every Friday. So the time you're seeing this, I think the new episode drops at later this night. And man, it's just such a great show, right? It's only a small fraction, I'll say 1/20th of all the comic run has gone through in the first season. And we're now in season 2. They're dealing with a multiverse, but it's not like multiverse like you see now in movies where it's they're going to other universes to see other versions of these characters that we already know. So you're seeing in Spider-Man No Way Home, where you see Tobey Maguire Spider-Man or Andrew Garfield Spider-Man. You don't know who the heck these guys are. They're just going to different versions, seeing the different versions of himself. And I'm excited to see what happens, because this is not just one of the best animated series on television right now. This is one of the best superhero shows that are out right now. You know what I'm saying? Better than most of the Marvel shows that have come out. As a Marvel fanboy, it hurts for me to say that. I love Marvel. So, but it's better than those, and it's just incredible. I haven't seen The Boys or Gen V, that level of gore isn't my kind of thing.
Yeah.
So watching Invincible, it's just incredible.
Yeah, I didn't really get into it whenever it was in season 1. I feel like a lot of people just kind of posted about it, and especially posted the end of the series. So it was like, why would I even want to watch it?
Think.
Exactly. So why would I even want to watch it if that's just gonna go on?
Yeah.
And I'm gonna see this for the next 2 months.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Man, you definitely gotta get into it, dude. Let's talk about one of our favorite shows. A lot of black people's favorite shows that have come out. The Boondocks.
Yes, sir.
Right. If you don't know the Boondocks, it's about a little kid and his brother moving in with his granddad in the suburbs, and then and they get a nice house in a white neighborhood, right? And then it's a bunch of hijinks shenanigans that they go through in this neighborhood. So I don't want to talk about too much about the Boondocks specifically, but I want to go ahead and get into our top 5 episodes, man.
R.I.P. John Witherspoon, bro.
R.I.P. John Witherspoon, really an idol and a staple in the black community. My first time seeing John Witherspoon was in the Wayans bros, right? And then so whenever like a lot of people know him as Granddad or the dad from Friday. So I just know him as Pops from the Wayans bros. What's it called? What do you say? He always said. He always put his hands up to his mouth. He said, "Don't tell nobody." He's ready to whoop Marlon and Sean as grown adults, which was real.
Real, bro.
But R.I.P. to him, a legend for real.
I mean, yeah, we're gonna go ahead and start off with our top 5 episodes. Before I even get into it, I do want to say there are too many episodes out of all 55 episodes to put 5 in a list.
Yeah, it was really difficult.
Because it really depends on what you like or what has been the most appealing to you, what's been the most funny to you. So I just kind of put a group of 5 episodes that have just kind of just caught my eye in general. And there are definitely episodes, if I were to go back and rewatch, I would be like, yeah, I could have put this in my top 5. But I'm going to go ahead and start off with the Attack of the Killer Kung Fu Bitch. And it was one of those episodes where Granddad was doing his online dating adventures that led him to a girl, or a woman, I'll say, named Luna. And he invited her over for the weekend. And he was over here, during the episode, he's over here taking pictures of himself in his boxers, trying to get all these women, bro. And he ended up just doing that. And as soon as she came over, she was like kind of a psycho, and Huey and Riley noticed it and realized that she was an expert on the art of kung fu and somewhat psychotic. And it was crazy because Huey had ended up fighting her that episode, and she would tell all these stories about how she'd be cutting people's heads off and stuff like that. But she was like low-key kind of raw though. Like
she was tough.
Yeah, like she definitely one of the most tougher people in the Boondocks. And at number 4, this one was one of the craziest episodes I've ever seen in the Boondocks. And it's A Date with the Booty Warrior. and if you've seen this episode, y'all, if you haven't seen this episode, you already know, bro.
I want you and I need you. This is the easy way or the hard way.
Tom was scared of going to prison, but he ended up facing his fears. He ended up taking all the kids from the school, but he ended up facing his fears for like a cool 5 minutes. And it's kind of crazy to like actually tune in and talk about on here.
Because they say a lot of crazy things that we cannot repeat.
And they end up holding the kids hostage. They talk about what they want, which is just a bunch of women. White woman, Asian woman, Indian woman, black woman.
West Indian
woman. It's just a really funny episode in general. But if you've seen it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And if you haven't seen it, then you haven't seen the Boondocks. So, like, you better go tap in.
I'm going to say it right now. We really enjoy the Boondocks, but we have to say it's not for everybody.
It is not for everybody.
Right. A lot of people, there's a lot of stuff that would offend people. But, if you are not really triggered by a lot of things that they will say, because they will say a lot of things that would be triggering to a lot of people, you should definitely tune into the show. It's really incredible. It's really great.
Yeah. And then at number 3... I have Tom, Sarah, and Usher. Ooh. And this is one of the funniest episodes because whenever they were just at dinner and they find out that Usher's there at dinner with them, and Sarah just starts fangirling. Like, bro, if that was me with my wife, and like, bro, there's like a celebrity crush type of thing. Like, it's just like, bro, if you have a celebrity crush, it's not like crazy bad, but at the same time, fangirling whenever you see them and be like, oh my God, I'm with like my husband right now. But it's like, I love you, Usher. I love you. And then Usher like completely disregards Tom and just and leaves with Sarah.
Bro, Tom takes so much stuff in the show and he doesn't ever stick up for himself. It is funny as heck, bro.
And then the waiter was like, wouldn't let that happen to me though. But that was like the funniest part about it. And Tom just like is looking at himself like, bro, what do I even do?
No, the funniest part was definitely when Tom Basiga did the raid.
Yes,
and they said, hey, Tom, shut the hell up.
That's what I was getting to. Like he ended up making a music video and he was just in the rain singing, trying to get his wife back. And she wasn't even necessarily like gone for real. But he was just so sick. But I feel like if Usher tried to take my girl too, and my girl did some stuff like that, I'd be sick too. I don't know if I'd be out in the rain.
But we've talked about this before, especially because we saw those videos of Usher's concerts.
Yes.
He bring women up stage and feed them chocolate-covered strawberries.
Oh, yeah, that's crazy. Nah.
Like, I couldn't.
Nah.
I couldn't do that, bro.
And then my second favorite episode.
Tell him who he brings in to help him with his problems. Tell him who he brings in.
Who was it again?
A pimp named
Oh,
Slickback.
yes, a pimp named Slickback. Yes, bro, yes. And a pimp named Slickback is, bro, he's got to be like a top 5 character, bro. Top 6, I'll say. Top 6.
But a pimp named Slickback wouldn't be who he is without Cat Williams, man. Cat Williams is hilarious, dude.
No, for real.
I feel like every time I see Cat Williams, she's always playing a pimp.
No, for real. And then he's trying to help Tom with his problems. He keeps calling Sarah a bitch.
He says, sometimes you just gotta smack a bitch.
I'm saying, he's like, sir, I will not slap my wife.
And then he goes and slaps Usher. He gets his ass beat by the security guards.
Bro, that's funny. But then just going into my second favorite episode, it is one of the few stink meaner episodes that there are. And it's the one where Uncle Ruckus does the exorcism on him. because Uncle Ruckus comes back for like the 3rd time. and he comes back like in didn't he come back in someone else's body?
He came back in Tom's body.
Yes, he came back in Tom's body. And the crazy thing was Huey was having dreams about it. And then, bro, it was just crazy because he ended up coming to the crib, and then him and Huey are having this whole, like, kung fu fight, bro. And the amount of martial arts Huey knows is crazy.
How old is bro? Bro's like 8 years old.
They're both 8, Huey and Riley. But,
Bro said, raid. Raid.
Bro, it's just crazy, bro. Like, they had Tom strapped to a bed talking about read. Like, what?
Said a black man's worst enemy.
A book. Like, what do you mean?
Bro, the crazy thing is, bro started bugging out when he said read.
Bro, that's got to be the craziest microaggression of all time. And then, number 1, bro, this has got to be some people's number 1, but it's just because of the iconic moment in this episode. It's got to be the fundraiser. Where Huey hit Guy Ritchie with the best quote of all time, bro. The best quote. Like I would take this speech over the I Have a Dream Martin Luther King speech, bro. And I'm just joking.
Which Martin Luther King speech? The one in real life or the one in the show? Because Martin Luther King...
The one in real life.
Because bro gave a speech in the show.
Bro, yeah.
Against BET and black people.
No, bro, he was like, this is what I got my ass beat for. All them ass beatings I took. But yeah, bro. Like, easily the best speech. If you haven't looked at it, we're not going to say it on here.
He says a lot of crazy stuff.
He says a lot of crazy things, but if you're going to look at the speech, you might as well just watch the whole episode because you probably won't understand. But most definitely my favorite episode because it was just a whole process. Mm-hmm. And you kind of see how everything developed over this episode because it was about Riley selling chocolate bars. And it was like it turned into a whole like organization type of deal. So that was my top 5. I'm really rocking with it.
I mess with it, man. I mess with it. All right, my top 5. I'm going to start at number 5, right? Season 1, episode 10, The Itis.
That was a good episode.
Bro, we was talking about it the other day. We were talking about the Luther, and I was like, bro, I know it's bad for you. It's going to probably kill you. It'll give you a heart attack. But it's a burger. Like, it's like a fried burger or something like that.
Yeah.
Inside of a donut. Inside of a Krispy Kreme donut topped with bacon.
It sounds so good, but so bad.
Like, it looks so good, too, but I know it will literally kill you. Like, I have a really picky palate, like you do, too. But, you know, I'm a real foodie. And, like, a lot of this food is not good for you. But the way he describes it and the way they make it in the show, this cartoon food in general is always top tier, no matter what it is, who's making it. Unless they purposely make it look bad. Like, cartoon food is just incredible.
And you even told him that Granddad's food was destructive. Like, what?
Like, bro, his food had people fall. His restaurant had beds in it, so people could could crash out after they get done eating, bro. Like, that's how crazy the food is. What's it called? What's it called? It's like D something the community.
I forget.
It's like I forgot the word of it. It's gonna come back to me later. I won't be mad because I forgot it. But number 4, I have season 1, episode 4, Granddad's Fight, the first Stink Meaner episode.
Yes.
When they're talking about N-word moments, and then you don't want to be caught up in one of those, man. You don't want to be caught up in one of those. Granddad, he gets early in the episode, he gets beat up by a blind dude named Stink Meaner. You already had a Stink Meaner episode. This is the one that was right before that one.
Stink Meaner ran into his car at the mall.
And bro got his ass beat by Stink Meaner, like a blind dude. So Granddad starts training to fight Stink Meaner. And then at the end of the episode, they fight, and you realize Stink Meaner got lucky. He's just a blind dude, and Granddad literally beats him to death. And then everybody's like, oh my God, what's happening? I just remember Riley throwing a freaking chair in the middle of the crowd, and everybody starts to fight. And like, the crazy thing is so funny because every time I see that, people always edit it so they throw the chair and it goes into the thing that happened in Boston on the little river or whatever.
Yeah.
And so it's like that, and it is the dude hitting the other white dude with the chair, and I'm just crying, bro.
Yeah, bro, if a chair's getting thrown, bro,
A fight's about to break out.
All hell's about to break loose.
Number 3, I have season 3, episode 9. You already mentioned this one. A Date with the Booty Warrior.
Bro,
there's not much else I could say,
there's
bro.
not much, bro. It's just, you gotta watch it, bro.
Like, I can't say a lot of stuff that happened in that episode because they be talking reckless. Like, especially what they say to Uncle Ruckus in the episode. What they say to Uncle Ruckus in the episode is crazy, but I can't say that on here. But that episode is definitely top tier Boondocks. Number 2, I have season 1, episode 2, The Trial of Robert Kelly. Bro, it's just because of there's so many iconic quotes from that episode. Like, Riley says, if I see piss coming, I boo. She saw piss coming, she stayed. And why should I have to miss out on the next R. Kelly album for that? Like, and then Riley was like, you just got owed by an 8-year-old to a professional lawyer, because Tom had no, rebuttal against that. And then later in that episode, they start dancing in the court because R. Kelly's deemed innocent. They start playing his music. And then the whole quote, I'm about to go off on the whole speech that Huey gives. He says, hey, what the hell is wrong with you people? Every person that gets arrested is not Nelson Mandela. Yes, the government conspires to put a lot of innocent black men in jail on fallacious charges. But R. Kelly is not one of those men. We all know the dude can sing. But what happened to standards? What happened to bare minimums? You a fan of R. Kelly? You want to help R. Kelly? The kid R. Kelly some counseling. But don't pretend, introduce him to some older women. Hide his camcorder.
Introducing him to older women is crazy.
But don't pretend like this man is a hero. And stop the damn dancing. Act like you got some goddamn sense, people. Like, bro was killing them. And they said, who is this motherfucker? Put the music back on. And they went back to dancing, bro.
And Huey just walked out, bro. That reminded me of the Garden episode, the first episode of the Boondocks, where he was talking about how Ronald Reagan is the devil, bro.
Jesus was black. He said, thank you. And then in the dream, bro, everybody started going crazy. Like, ah. Like, bro, this is crazy. And number 1, bro, it's the same episode you got, bro. Season 3, episode 7, The Fundraiser, bro.
It's just the best, bro.
It's the best episode. All I have to say is, this is America. Our president is black, and my Lambo is blue. Like, that's a bar, bro.
That's such a bar, bro.
Like, I don't care right now. My president's still black. I still mess with Barack.
Bro,
that's my guy.
Bro, it's been...
I don't care. It's been 8 years. He's still my president.
Yeah, bro, most definitely.
All right, before I go into the last topic, I want to talk about something that I really want to discuss, which is the state of adult animation right now. And I like to say, right now, as of 2023, it's definitely headed in the right direction. Like, as adult animation becomes, and animation as a whole becomes more respected as a medium, especially as people, start seeing it more as just, cartoons, right? People start seeing it as a medium that has multiple genres and stuff, just like regular TV shows and movies. Excuse me. Adult animation is just, so interesting because it started off really as just animated sitcoms, right? You had shows like King of the Hill, Family Guy, The Simpsons, South Park, which they're all different, they're all very different. But at its core, it's still an sitcom, it follows a family, a group of kids, and like their not serialized episodic adventures. And then you get shows like studios looking at this, and they follow a format, right? They follow the format of these studios these shows that are just gonna stay edgy and rely on edgy humor, and they rely on that plus like heavy cuss words and sometimes a lot of like violence. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like how many times I've seen Meg get shot by Peter, like an absurd amount of time.
Peter is whacking her with the golf club.
like that's just something that people in studios really try to copy and try to follow the Family Guy format. And you see that with a lot of shows like on Netflix. You see a lot of the bad animation that are the CG animated, and you're just like, this isn't interesting. This isn't what I want. You know what I'm saying? Because even though we do like these shows, we like these shows for a specific reason, not because of the edge and the gore, but in the all the like cuss words. You know what I'm saying? We like it because of characters. You know what I'm saying? We build a relationship with these characters.
Yeah, but it's changed a lot in the last 3 decades of adult animation, and whenever like you kind of look back on it, you're like, it's just changed since the shows where they had the slovenly dad, the belagered wife, the rabbit roosted kids, bro. Like, just freaking, you can even put an animal in there, like freaking Brian,
or
like the alien from American Dad, bro. But it's just stuff like that.
I feel like now they're looking more at like anime because people like a lot of anime. And anime, and like overseas, they respect animation as a medium instead of a genre. So you see anime, you get different kinds of anime, right? You get the rom-com animes, you get the action animes, you get the ones that are more designated for the kids, and you get a lot of the hard, gory, violence things that, what certain studios think that that's all that adults want. But now, in the West, we're starting to see a lot more different stuff. You see Rick and Morty, which is still like kind of a sitcom kind of thing with a little bit more serialized canon to it. It's a sci-fi show. You got Final Space, which is more a serialized storyline with the sci-fi. You got Afro Samurai, which is like an anime made in the West. You got Love, Death, and Robots, which is an anthology series following. Each episode's a different animation style, and then it's a different story for like a short. And like it's really interesting. You got Arcane, which I haven't seen, but I heard is really good. Hit Monkey, which I also haven't seen, which I heard is really good, is another action adventure adult animated series. BoJack Horseman, which is kind of a sitcom, but it's also more of like a drama. The way it gets deep, man. It gets deep. BoJack. You get Unicorn Warriors Eternal, Primal, both on Adult Swim, action adventure series. And studios aren't relying on that sitcom format for animated shows anymore. They're diversifying and allowing more serious, dramatic, and serialized shows to be created, using animation more as a medium rather than just a genre.
Most definitely. And I feel like we're in the middle of the golden age right now for it. And I feel like, well, at least to me, it kind of started like in 2019.
Yeah.
Where you have shows like BoJack Horseman, you have shows like Rick and Morty. And don't hate me, but like literally whenever Big Mouth came out, like that was the most I've ever seen people watch an adult animated show.
Now it's a little overplayed. Nobody messes with Big Mouth anymore. But when it first came out, it was different. You know what I'm saying?
Like you'd go to school and people are talking about the last episode that came out. And then I feel like it also has to do with like all the streaming services that are putting out stuff like that too.
For sure.
They're putting billions on trying to animate these projects.
Yeah. Hopefully going forward, especially after the actors strike, and the animation studios, that union's getting a new deal next year. The deal expires, so unless they go on strike, we should start seeing. Hopefully, we keep seeing the evolution and the progress that we've seen over the past couple years and the decades, and hopefully we don't go backwards. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's the worst thing that could ever possibly happen. Going backwards to shows just relying on just the sitcom kind of style, more Family Guys. Like, we don't need 100 Family Guys, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Give us something different every now and then, you know what I'm saying? Give us more Invincibles, or give us more Bojacks, or give us more Afro Samurais, or Final Space, We don't need something. I'm not saying we need something extremely serious. We don't need only dramas. But I'm not saying we don't need only comedies, right? Mix and match, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All right, let's go ahead and get to our top 5 animated series, you know what I'm saying? Another thing, because, there's a lot of great animated series out there for adults specifically, overall, there's a bunch of great animated projects. So I just want to focus on, 5 animated series that you really enjoy that are from the West, not animes or nothing like that.
So my top 5, at 5, I have kind of the show that got me into adult animated things, and we were really just talking about it, and I have Big Mouth, but that's mainly because, like, whenever it first came out, like, everyone was so obsessed with it, and it was just like, and Big Mouth put out so much stuff to where I didn't even know, like, that stuff happened to people. I didn't know this was that or that was this. And at number 4, I have Solar Opposites. That was one of the ones that Jreese showed me. And it was just one of, like, the most odd adult animations I've seen in a minute.
Yeah, the first season is really, really interesting, to say the least. But after you get used to it on season 2 and 3, you'll definitely see a little bit more. I think season 4 had just come out, if I'm not mistaken, or if that was season 3. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But not Dan Hammer. Justin Roiland was also a producer on that series, and he got replaced. But the way they replaced him on that show was definitely very different than what they did on Rick and Morty. Because on Rick and Morty, they found a voice actor that, like, sounded like him. You know what I'm saying? They got 2 voice actors that sounded like Rick and Morty. They said, nah, they got a British dude to voice Corvo, and Corvo's British now. And that's just it.
And then at number 3, I got South Park. And just easily, I started watching it, like, almost religiously last year, bro. Like, I would just go back to the crib after school and just be watching it while I'm doing my homework. Like, and it was just so funny. And Butters is definitely him.
Love Butters.
I feel like Kenny's definitely the best character, though.
Bro, Kenny's never alive, bro.
Bro, he's just him, bro. Like, bro, Kyle complains too much. Cartman is annoying. Butters is okay.
Butters. He's Butters.
Butters is just Butters.
What about Stan, though?
Stan is dope, but, like, Stan is also one of those guys that
you forget about.
Not even forget about.
Okay.
He'd be too worried about, like, outside things. Like, why are you going to your dad talking about, why is this happening in my life? You are 8 years old.
Yeah,
like,
I feel you.
Like, go outside and play, have fun or something. Like Kenny ain't even talk, but he was always doing something, bro. That's why I love Kenny.
Man, what's it called? I definitely started getting into more South Park over the last year because of TikTok.
Yeah, bro.
Because there was like a whole 3-month stretch where you watch whole episodes of South Park on TikTok on your For You page. Like, the thing is, I don't think it wasn't just me. Like, I feel like that happened to literally everybody on TikTok. Like, everybody was watching South Park, and everybody got into it, and everybody realized that Butters is him.
And before that South Park era started was the Family Guy era.
Yeah.
And that's what I have at number 2. And I started watching Family Guy back, like, whenever I was in the 7th grade, because I would usually have, like, strength and conditioning practice, and as soon as that would be done with, I'd be walking home. It'd be like a 20-minute walk home. So I'd literally watch an episode a day. Well, not even an episode a day, an episode walking home, and then just watch it the rest of the day. So that would be fun, and that's what really got me into, like, Family Guy made me watch American Dad, it made me watch The Cleveland Show, and just some other things. And number 1, y'all already know, I got the Boondocks, bro. Like, I'll tell y'all that is my favorite show of all time, and even I'll tell you it's the best show of all time. So, but that's just because the Boondocks. I think I watched that before I started watching Family Guy, honestly. And just one of the easiest shows to rewatch, too.
Yeah, for sure, man. Man, I have a couple of honorable mentions. You mentioned Family Guy. I have that on my honorable mentions. Solar Opposites on mine. Futurama. BoJack Horseman. Unicorn. King of the Hill, I really started watching a lot recently because I got home from school and then I'm doing homework and I have to put something on. So I'm like, even though I'll get distracted, but I realized that King of the Hill Because I used to hate King of the Hill when I was younger, right? You see King of the Hill come on Cartoon Network, you realize, yeah, it's time to get off. But now as an adult, I'm like, bro, why are they hitting, bro? Why is the stuff they're talking about hitting, bro? Because it's not straight comedy, bro. It's more real subjects that people can relate to. And I'm like, oh, nah. If I watch it a little bit more, it might be on my top 5. But King of the Hill is definitely up there. And I'm sorry I've been sleeping on it for so long, man. But number 5, I have American Dad over Family Guy. Just because American Dad, even though Family Guy is kind of the base for American Dad's just great, man. I feel like the relationship between the family members is better. Roger is just crazy. And then the one thing that Family Guy will never have, bro, is Steve Anita Smith, man. That boy can sing his heart out, bro. Bro got more soul in him than a lot of people, bro.
He is a better son than Chris.
The weird thing, though, about Steve is he's oddly attracted to his mom.
Yeah.
That is weird. That's weird as hell. But aside from that, when bro sings, bro, you already know it's gonna be a bop, bro. Bro was singing in the desert, ripped with the white shirt blowing in the wind, talking about Daddy's gone and he's not coming home. Bro was singing, bro.
This is real.
Number 4, man, you're gonna hate me because I don't have it higher, but I got the Boondocks.
Just crazy.
I really do enjoy the Boondocks, but I watched it for the first time a year or 2 ago. And I really do enjoy it. I will rewatch it, and I'll rewatch clips. Like we said earlier, a lot of iconic moments and episodes in that series. I had seen a lot of clips from it before I had started watching this show. But, I had to put it lower just because these shows I have at my top 3, I just really enjoy, man. My number 3 spot, I got Rick and Morty, right? My boy JT put me on Rick and Morty because I was sleeping on it for a while. So shout out Justin Terrena. My guy put me on this show, and ever since then, bro, I've been rocking with it, bro. I remember watching the one episode I had on repeat for a long time. It was the Purge episode and the Tiny Sanchez episode where he's trapped in the teenage body, and then bro was singing depressed songs trying to tell you, hey, I'm trapped in a vat in my garage, help me out. And then what's it called? Morty was like, nah, I'm trying to get with Jessica right now. Let me do my thing, Rick. But, Rick and Morty is just such a great show. It has fallen off a little bit, since those early seasons. I'll say that. But I still have such a great time watching the show that I had to put it in my top 3. Number 2, I have Invincible, right? Even though it's only one season and 1 episode out, such a great show. I love comic book stuff in general, right? I love comic book movies. I'm a big fan of the MCU. By the day this releases on that Friday, I'm going to go watch the Marvels later that night. By the time you see this, I've already watched the Loki finale for season 2. I've seen everything in the MCU. I've seen all the DC movies. The only thing I haven't seen the Blade movies. I haven't seen the Daredevil movie. I haven't seen season 3 of Daredevil. I haven't seen season 2 of Jessica Jones. I haven't seen The Punisher. But I think everything else I've seen. I just love comic books, man. I need to start getting back into reading them. When I get some bread, bread a little tight. Because I just bought Spider-Man, so, I beat that game, though. Beat Spider-Man.
Oh, that's good.
Beat Spider-Man. 100% of that thing. But I love Invincible. I love what season 1 was. I love the story of it. And I'm so excited to see what season 2 has because I haven't read the comics. So I'm excited to see what that brings and how many seasons this show can go on for. Because like I said before, it's only a small portion that has been covered in season 1, and and even smaller portion so far on season 2, because season 2 just premiered. So I'm excited to see what it has going on. But my number 1 is Final Space. A lot of people have not talked about Final Space, and it makes me so angry because I love that show so much, man. Final Space is like what was originally I thought would be a Rick and Morty kind of ripoff. It was so much more than that, right? This dude, season 1 starts off with him, being on, he got arrested for trying to spit game at this high commander. And then it's him trying to repair his relationship with old girl. Yeah. And then through that, you learn a lot more backstory of him, not just him, but these other characters like Avocado, Little Cato, Quinn, the character he was spitting game at. and then you see this backstory he has with his dad, and then you find out in every other timeline, every other universe, he ends up killing himself to save the universe. You know what I'm saying? He sacrifices himself. But in this one, instead of him sacrificing himself, his girl sacrifices himself, right? Quinn, like, she's like, I love you. And then she sacrifices herself. And then it goes on to season 2 and season 3, where you get introduced to new characters like Ash and, it was Ash and Fox. And then those characters get built upon. And then a lot of stuff happens, and you get introduced to Bolo, a Titan, which is, like, I freaking love Bolo. Keith David voices him. I love Keith David, one of my favorite voice actors in the game. And then it's just, I don't want to say too much about it because I really want you to go watch it. I don't know where you can watch it because I think I might have got written off as a tax write-off, actually, by Warner Brothers. Because, fuck Warner Brothers. They're ruining a bunch of shit. They just, today they just asked another movie that they had completed, 100% completed. All the animation was done. All the voice acting was done. It was all ready to go, set to be released later this year. And they're like, nah, tax write-off. You'll never see this. A lot of people, everybody that had seen it in the early previews, loved the movie. They're like, nah, cut it. Save $30 million. Like, bro, release this movie. You can get a lot more money if you release the movie. But that's a topic for another discussion. Fuck Warner Brothers. Pissing me off. But, yeah, that's my list, man. So, I love adult animation, man. I love animation as a whole. I want to talk about a lot of adult animation today just because, a lot of people don't talk about adult animation as much, you know what I'm saying? It's more of it's less appealing than regular animation, but I feel like now that they're kind of reaching out to just, not just really adults, but like more the young teen adults, young adults, and then it's getting really interesting with what they're doing with it. But yeah, that's going to wrap it up for this show. You have anything to say, Jay?
Yeah, man. I mean, that's just going to wrap it up. If you're tuning in again, thank you. If you've been tuned in every single week, every Tuesday and Friday, appreciate it. And if you have someone who necessarily wants to get into podcast or just watches podcast and you want to recommend one to them, go ahead and recommend us,
We appreciate it, man. We really would.
Yes.
Even if they don't listen to podcasts, just put our name out there. We really appreciate it, just having our name out there, getting more viewers and whatnot. But, really enjoyed this, man. This has been a fun couple weeks. This is episode 10 out right now, that we're dropping right now, right here. And, we really appreciate y'all, man. And we'll see y'all back on Monday. We'll be talking about more NBA news, more NFL news. The Heat just went on a 3-game win streak. Them boys, we up. I don't care what you say, we up.
Against 3 bad teams.
Even though Tyler Herro just got hurt, it just hurt my heart. You're having a great season. We'll come back swinging.
Yeah. I mean, y'all are definitely going to get to be able to know us some more over these next few episodes. Mm-hmm. So,
and next week we'll definitely be going back in time a little bit. Not reliving the past, but we're gonna definitely talk about something from our past that had a really big impact on us as a whole.
Yeah.
And that's all I'm gonna say. If you're curious, you just have to tune in next week to see what we will talk about.
All right. Thank y'all for watching.
All right, we appreciate y'all.